All right, so this officially begins part 2 on the Saturn flip. Part 1, just for the reference, was we bought it for $1,200. We immediately put brakes on it to get it home, and we got it home. And so now what's remaining to do is complete the mechanical repairs that are necessary to make this thing a drivable car, and clean it up and detail it as cheaply and quickly as we can. All right, so we're here at the junkyard to get a wheel hub. I said I was not going to consider doing that front body work unless I happened to find a car that was the same color in the junkyard. Wouldn't you believe that luck? Wonder if I should try and rip that quarter panel off. Maybe the bumper, probably not. But maybe the quarter panel and this inner fender, because that's kind of the first thing you see on the car that I've got. Unfortunately, with these being a digital odometer, which I don't like really, you can't really see how many miles are on it, but we're gonna check and make sure the wheel bearing is good. In here, this little leather boot is significantly better shape. If I could snag that, I probably would do it. The steering wheel is actually in significantly better shape. That's probably more work than I want to fool with. This car's got some upgrades, actually. It's got the leather trimmed steering wheel, which would have been an upgrade. The hinges on this has one hinge out of 2. My current one has 0, so maybe I'll grab that. The hinges off of this thing as an upgrade. But there's 2 more of these in this junkyard. So we're gonna check all of them. And finally, this Saturn badge back here I need. We do not seem to have hubcaps. We got a mosquito trap, but yeah, no hubcaps. I wonder about that front seat, if that'd be any good. Headlights on this are better than what I got at the house. This trunk is even pretty nice. This was a nice little, this one was not in bad shape when it wound up here. Yeah, I wonder if I could find a hubcap off of one of these. I'm guessing not. Was this I wonder how many cylinders was in this? But yeah, this is what I really need. Oh, and it's already like halfway taken off. Oh yeah. Does that help me or hurt me? This looks like it was a very clean car underneath. I got me a damn, look at this. We need to see that right there. Yeah, this I wonder, yeah, this that seems like a solid wheel bearing. Not that it's hard to tell with it like this. Man, but I'm telling this, the underside of this thing looks in such good shape. I need to break that ball joint, need to rip out the CV axle. Got to break these guys loose, got to pull off that caliper. Yeah, there's quite a cacophony of bolts that you got to do to rip one of these off. But this is what I want. I want this whole knuckle assembly. I'll take this damn rotor with me, hell. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I picked up that fender, which I wasn't really expecting to do, but since it was just there and it was already, didn't need to be painted, I figured that'd be easy. I already kind of put it up by the car to check the color matches, and the color does match. Also inner fender to go with that, because why not? Also the door panel, the inside door panel is like cracked, and it's flimsy, like you can't really pull it shut anymore easily. Anyways, it's broken. So I got a new one of those. And then this is really why I went. So this is a combined hub, rotor, bearing, spindle, assembly, whatever you want to call it, knuckle, whatever you want to call it. So this has everything we need to fix the front rotor and wheel bearing issue and not have to pay for any machine shop work. And also I got somewhere around it, oh yeah, little emblem for the trunk lid. I paid $150 for all this combined. So see if we can see, yeah, there we go. $150 for all it. And that's even including some core charges, which I may or may not collect on. So it may wind up being less than $150. Just got back from the tax office, transferring the title. And of course, I kind of got raked over the coals and I wasn't really expecting it. So here's where we're at with Saturn expenses. We're at $1,644 and we're not even done. And I was saying earlier, big picture wise, we need to be in for 15 if we're gonna try and get out for 25. I've already blown way past the 15 and I'm not even done. So at this point, shit gets a whole lot less discretionary. That's how these flips go. They rapidly get out of hand Call me Joe Saturn, because I will never financially recover from this decision. All right, so now we're beginning the glow up phase. We're gonna wash it. Theoretically, this should be really the easiest, cheapest, most gratifying part of the whole process. I'm not gonna film myself doing it, just gonna get a good solid before and after. So hopefully this adequately conveys the condition of this thing. Needs a wash pretty bad, hasn't been washed in a while, but I think it'll clean up okay. And if we can get to it today, maybe even wax it, maybe not. I do have that new front fender for it. All right, so I originally came out here to wash it, and things escalated a little bit because I was washing it and I was like, well, if I'm gonna put a new fender on it, I really wanna go ahead. I finished washing it and I was like, well, I really wanna throw the new fender on it and wash that as long as I've got soapy water out here. So I decided to rip the old fender off, and I'm getting into this thing. You know, I was a little bit worried about the way that the bumper fit together, but I think because of these cars are so simple, the radiator is really, the fender is really so integral to the way this all bolts up. And you can see that bumper's got this kind of slotted arrangement. I think all we need to do is make sure those slots are lined up the way we want them when we bolt in the new fender. And I think, because if you remember, there's a big gap in the headlights, in this gap between the headlights and the bumper. This one had a tight gap, but this one had a big gap. I think we can actually get that gap closed without spending any money, so that's awesome. And yeah, I think just the fact that we're replacing this fender, we can kind of, when we bolt everything back together, we can get it straighter than it was when it came apart. And man, that I am so happy with the way that turned out. The color matches perfectly. The gap between the headlight and the bumper is much better. The gap between the hood and the fender is much better. Man, what a satisfactory job. That just fit right in like it was meant to be. And man, really classes this car up. No more cracked fender. Also did the inner fender while we were at it, because I pulled that at the junkyard too. And yeah, I mean, it really, like, with the cracked fender and the cracked inner fender, this whole front corner and the no hubcap, this whole corner looked really trashy. All right, so we got a pretty big dent back here that we're gonna try and bang out. I don't know how well that captures it, but you know, I would call it, you know, basketball sized. Obviously it's not like basketball level indentation, but just in the overall diameter of it, I would call it, yeah, basketball size is fair. All right, so it's roughly 3 or 4 seconds since my last transmission. And I'm pleased to inform you that the dent appears to be repaired. Yeah, there is kind of like a little remaining waviness, but that dent is like 90% popped out. I'm a 90% kind of guy. If 90% is free, then I'm a 90% kind of guy. Anyways, yeah, I was literally like, I stuck my hand back there just trying to like feel around for like, how am I gonna get a hand or something, or a hammer back here? And like, as I stuck my hand back here to just kind of feel around, the dent just popped out like voluntarily. Price. Anyways, this is gonna be the fun part because I'm gonna wax it. So there's a few spots in particular I'm real curious about how they turn out. This spot right here on this front passenger fender. See if there's any way I can get a good look at, not really with the way the sun, there we go. So as you can see, there's some scuff marks here on the roof. The guy liked to put his kayak up here. I don't blame him in the slightest. This car, it's meant to be used. You can see that. Hopefully we can get some of those scuff marks out. It's got some stuff right there. Got some scratches on the trunk. And then also this new, air quotes, new fender that we got. We got some various scuffs on there. All right. Well, I don't know how obvious it is on camera, but it's pretty obvious in person. This thing glue up or glowed up, or however you would say it. This thing shined up quite a bit due to the wax. Just did a nice simple wax job with the orbital buffer. The roof, I mean, the scratches aren't gone, but man, they're 90% less noticeable. You know, if I was being serious, I would go over them with some rubbing compound. May do that if I get a wild hair. This kind of stuck around. I don't know how visible that is, but yeah, definitely we knocked down the visibility level of it. But yeah, this paint, I mean, this paint is still perfectly fine. This thing has more hail damage, you know. You realize once the paint's actually in good shape, the hail damage is not insignificant. Yeah, this fender, it cleaned up. Oh hell, I mean, it's okay. You can still see some of the scuffs over here, but man, just wax on a car that's needed it really bad for a long time. Man, it really just knocks down the immediate visibility of some of those imperfections. All right, just wanted to get a quick before prior to the spray-ons. Yeah, they've got about 125 different cans of spray paint on the shelf at AutoZone. I really agonized over this decision, but boy, I think I chose a winner. Man, if that doesn't say factory, I don't know what does. Here's the freshly painted hubcaps. Man, need to get it down off that jack stand so it we can tell what it's going to look like. Holy smokes, that's starting to look like a real car, huh? Cherry. All right, now I need to do some actual mechanical work. Halfway through the wheel hub or reinstallation, or removal and reinstallation. You see the old, just all these signs of extreme heat. And then there's the new, or, you know, used. Was not a tremendous amount of labor to get this thing out. Fortunately, everything was cooperative. Yeah, this took me maybe 30 minutes to get out, so we'll see if it's as easy going in. You know, never know. But yeah, not a bad job at all. Yeah, versus the whole taking all this stuff apart and taking it to a machine shop. Oh my God, holy smokes, I hadn't even tried that yet. Wow. Oh my God, I did not even realize that it was going to do that off the car. I don't know how obvious it is on the camera how much that thing wiggles. Holy smokes. And that noise that it makes, that like kind of almost like a damn, I mean, it's a bearing noise. It's like almost like a crinkling sound that it does. It's like you have to get it, yeah, if you get it right there, oh my God, depending on where it's clocked, it clunks worse. Yeah, if you get it over, yeah, that's a very, very bad wheel bearing. Very, very good wheel bearing. So, yep, that's progress. So here's where we're at with the passenger side front brakes. I got both the rear brakes bled and decided to go ahead and put the finishing touches on this just because I bought a set of brake pads, so I figured why not use a set of brake pads. I will be perfectly honest with you, I considered not doing this because when I saw the existing brake pads, I was like, well, these had plenty of life left on them, really. And, you know, I'm really one stuck bolt away from completely blowing my profit margin. But I thought, you know what? What would a respectable, professional human being do? And so I did that thing, and which was put these new pads on. Anyways, all right, so this is kind of the moment of truth. This is my first time driving the Saturn since we got it home from the Church of Scientology almost a week ago now. So we're gonna do a cold start. Look at that. The guy told me it started right up reliably. I believed just about everything that guy said. Where should I get on the highway? Which way should I go on the highway? Engine's great, transit's great. It's even got a little bit of gas in it. Man, this thing, this little car handles really well, I gotta be honest. And we're cruising. It revs, it cruises. Man, it's a smooth little ride. The ride is fine. That's one of the things I was afraid of. I was afraid it was gonna shake. The doesn't feel any warping in the pedal. Wow, look at that little engine rev. It sounds so happy. I really like this little 4-cylinder. Freaking GM EcoTech, who would have ever known? I'm telling you though, it's riding good. It's as smooth as glass. I'll tell you that. It doesn't shake. It doesn't act like the tires are out of balance. It goes pretty straight, I think. Aside from this wheel being cocked to one side. All right, highway test. Testing. Smooth so far. Very smooth, no rattling. Riding good. It is smooth. It is dead ass smooth. I mean, I am not kidding when I say this thing is smooth on the highway. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Wow, idle's so smooth. Because it doesn't shake. Doesn't feel like it needs motor mounts. Doesn't feel like the engine needs a tune-up. It just runs like a sewing machine. Yeah, I really don't think that guy was bullshitting me when he said this had been a good car. I think I might just try and, oh, this looks like the place where we need to be. Oh, I think we just hit the jet. Oh yeah, this is our spot. All right, so that used tire place turned out to be quite the win. As you can see, we've got a couple, can you believe that? Cooper, name brand tires. They're almost too good for this car. Coopers with a bunch of tread left. I believe 2020 is the year on them. Yeah, $50 pop. So yeah, $100. So we're now an $1,800 car, but hey, I'm fine with that for used tires. I mean, they're the first thing somebody looks at. They can stand to be washed. I will wash them. They'll look nicer after they're washed. And the other thing from the used tire place is I finally broke this officially, ripping it off. So I think that's going to be an easy fix. I think I have what I need for that. All right, so a little bit of progress on the interior. So this door panel is now fixed. Got this new door handle trim piece from AutoZone, or not AutoZone, but Pull Apart. That was an amazing find. Really classes this all up. Having this broken door panel was kind of a bummer. And then on the inside, so this, I don't know if I showed it before, but this seat cushion was like not affixed to the seat somehow. I don't know. It's not obvious looking at that one how it is supposed to be affixed to the seat. But anyways, so I just poked a hole in it. Found the nearest hole in the frame I could find. One black zip tie. I'll cut the tail off that. I just left it there for illustrative purposes. But that's going to be good as new for an 02 Saturn. I mean, versus before it was just flopping. You could just pick it up and walk away with it. Now it's going to be perfectly satisfactory. Also, this thing was flopping. This thing had come off. So there's like one screw for this thing underneath. This is cracked. So somebody at one point had been too forceful with it, I guess, and cracked it. But I just screwed it back in, and the crack in this thing, as long as somebody's not rough with it, it'll stay right there. Long enough for me to sell it is the real objective. So yeah, the armor all phase is complete. Now onto the vacuuming phase. Let's take a look at how the interior did. I didn't spend much time in here, to be honest. It was pretty much already fine. And all I need it to be is fine. So, but you know, a few things cleaned up quite a bit. You know, got all the loose dirt out of there. This door panel cleaned up quite a bit. You know, I just did what I consider kind of the big three: armor all the plastic surfaces, spray clean all the glass, and vacuum. Pretty basic stuff. The trunk is clean. I vacuumed the trunk out. I'm sure you'll take my word for that. If I had to say the three remaining skanky things, we fixed a couple things. We fixed this lower seat cushion, the seat bottom, and we fixed this handle. Those are both make this a lot nicer for easy, quick, and cheap. If I had to say the last couple things that are kind of skanky about this interior, the steering wheel, although it's cleaner now. This is not perfect, but it's an 02 Saturn. And then this very skanky window tinting that I'm not a fan of. It did not clean up great. And the back glass is still cloudy and difficult to see out of. And without getting a wild hair and deciding that I'm going to try my hand at window tint removal, there's nothing I can do about that. And also this boot. So here's where we're at, big picture. Craigslist Gold market strategies. So this Saturn is a $2,500 car. This Saturn in barely drivable shape would be a $2,500 car. This Saturn in museum showroom quality would be a $2,500 car. And that's the upside and the downside of where we're at now. With the addition of those used tires on the rear that I threw on today, we're at $1,800. So we are getting too thin in the profit margin department, especially when you consider the hours that were spent and what a reasonable hourly rate for a human being would be. Here's the thing, is if this had the potential to be worth more than $2,500, maybe you would go ahead and fix everything and spend the money. However, and the strut noise, I don't know what to do about that. But the thing is, because people have low expectations for an 02 Saturn, I would be crazy to try and keep going and keep perfecting all these minor flaws. I need a low price to get asses in the door, and I need a drivable car. And that's all anybody looking for this thing is looking for, is a drivable car. And if you're not already aware, they now sell at the auto parts store specific trim and emblem adhesive. So yeah. Anyways, but we're not doing that. We're using this old Loctite clear silicone bottle with 2 Phillips screwdriver holes punched in it. Yeah, this stuff smells like vinegar. This seems about right. And with that, it's officially a Saturn. All right, so it is Sunday, October the 13th. So I believe this would be exactly 2 weeks since I bought the Saturn. I got the title in the mail yesterday. So as of today, it was officially time to list it. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm David.
Good to meet you. I'm Jack.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
What's going on? Hi.
Not much. Hey.
Nice car. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's easy in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mind if I ask, are you a dealer?
So not really. Like, this is not really my car. I bought it a couple weeks ago. So the guy who I got this from, it was his grandma's car, and it was his first car, and he was in like his mid-20s, and he'd been driving it since he was 16. What happened was the front wheel bearing went bad, and that caused the front brakes to go bad. So I bought it, put a wheel bearing on it, did the front brakes. Yeah, anyways, basically this guy had been driving it for a long time. He got it from his grandma, and when the brakes went bad, he just went out and bought a brand new, yeah, he bought a Hyundai Telluride or whatever those things are. And he just wanted to get rid of this thing. So
this one had an accident.
There was a gap. We noticed there's a
Besides
gap.
the
yes.
gap, this one also is more this way than the other side.
Yep.
So the car had accident on this side.
Did they mention that there was an accident?
No. All right, so the first prospective buyers are here. They're taking it for a spin. Maybe I'll never see that car again, you know? I kind of trust him, at least a little bit. Anyways, it's a younger guy and his dad. The dad is a very stern man, and he's kind of doing the thing, you know, that he feels like he's got to do, where he's pointing out every little thing, and, oh, you know, this was hit, and these gaps don't line up, and there was a wreck. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, you know, it's a $2,500 car. You know, you can scrutinize body gaps on a damn $100,000 Lexus, but, you know, $25 $100 beater, I would say less so. Hey.
Yeah, I don't really
Okay.
but thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah, you too. I've sold a few cars in my life, but that was the That was the most brutal, immediate rejection I've ever experienced in car selling. Got a pork plate tonight, potato salad and collards. We're out of mac and cheese, but I'd gotten potato salad anyways. Listen, I'm gonna sit here across the street and look at my own house for a minute before I go over there. But to be honest, that rejection earlier kind of killed my confidence on the little Saturn. For a minute there, I was like, man, maybe this car does suck. Maybe I just need to get out of this thing at any cost. Maybe I need to take a loss. Maybe I am a dirtbag. Maybe I am a shitty car flipper. And then I thought, you know what? No. We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Man, there's just something about getting to the junkyard 12 minutes after opening when the parking lot is empty. Look at that. That is a sight for sore eyes. I can't remember the last time I saw this parking lot like that. It's got more oil in it than it's got cars. But anyways, I'm here to collect on a couple court charges and take kind of a gamble. So yesterday I was drifting off to sleep and I thought, you know, if this weekend had one more day left in it, what I would do is I would try and grab some used struts off of one of those Saturns at the junkyard and throw those on this thing. Because I think the two most glaring issues when you drive that car as of present are the struts make a terrible clunking noise. They're very, very bad. And the steering wheel is cocked off to the side. So I suspect when those lovely prospective buyers came by yesterday, those were a couple of the things that, what are you yakking at me about? Are we not, can we not? Oh, it's my lights. Anyways, yeah, I suspect those are a couple of the things that scared them off. So I don't think that the new struts are in the budget for this one because this is all very stupid and I'm wasting money already. So I can take a gamble on a couple of used struts that pull apart. 2 used struts that pull apart is $60 combined for both of them. So I'm going to take a gamble on this. They could turn out to be worse than the ones that I've got in the car. They could turn out to be marginally better. They could turn out to be great. I don't know. Old versus new. Viva la difference. This is left is new, right is old. So you can see some crust formation. Perhaps that had something to do with how noisy these struts had become. You know, I mean, they look very similar. This one looks a little bit nicer and cleaner. And of course I only have the driver's side one. So I don't know if this is going to make a hill of beans, but we're gonna throw that in, so. All right, so I'm not even prepared to get up for this one. I had a very demoralizing day with the little Saturn. So anyways, after those guys came and drove the car yesterday, I was feeling kind of down about it. So I was like, well, you know, let me address the things that I still know it kind of needs. It's got struts clunking in the front. The brake pedal never quite felt quite right to me. I'm not sure. I was never sure if I was psyching myself out over that, but the brake pedal always felt soft to me, even though they were bled. Anyways, I thought, well, you know, I'll get some junkyard struts and, well, I already said all that stuff. I already showed you guys the whole thing. So I got the strut on there and it seems quieter. I think it's better, I guess. I'm not going to pursue that anymore. And then I got the master cylinder on there. And so I've done a few master cylinders in my life, and in my experience, there's nothing to them. 2 bolts that hold it on, and then the 2 brake lines, and you know, popped right off and put the new one on in a handful of minutes. And yeah, so I got everything back together, and I was like, oh, the pedal's really firm now. And I was going down my driveway, I was like, yeah, the pedal's really firm now. Yeah, I have no power brakes now. And so that was confusing. The brakes worked fine, but I did not have power brakes anymore. So I thought, well, okay, you know, logically, what could cause this? And yeah, the vacuum hose was hooked up. I didn't see anything obviously glaringly wrong. So I'm like, well, I must have somehow destroyed the brake booster when I installed, you know, the new master or something. I don't know. And so then you know, I'm troubleshooting, and I removed the new used master cylinder that I just put on, and yeah, at that time, the brake internals to the brake booster disassembled. And I don't know if they had already been disassembled the first time I tried to put this all together, and then the second time I put it all together, it exacerbated it. But at that time, I took the brake booster, I took the master cylinder off, and like all of the internals of the brake booster and the stuff where the brake booster like connects the master cylinder, all that stuff is like, it's in pieces, it's bent, it's irreparable, completely irreparable. Or like, I think I missed a step there. I took the master cylinder off, kind of like just jiggled it, rebolted it, and then I had zero brakes, and that's when I actually took it all the way off and looked in the booster anyways. But yeah, at this point I think break even is a strong maybe. I think if I'm lucky, I'll break even. All right, it is the following Friday. The brake booster is out. The old brake booster is out. I did have a chance to go to pull apart today and pull used brake booster right here. As you can see, the push rod and everything in this one is intact. It is not intact in here. This one is destroyed. I don't know if it was on its way out before or what, or if I destroyed it by haphazardly throwing that master cylinder on. We're gonna get this guy on. Bought a master cylinder bleeding kit, so this is a little bit more efficient than what I had. I'm gonna throw this on, throw the master cylinder on, bleed the master, bleed the brakes, and that's the new used master cylinder. Like I said, I went to put that used master on because I was never fully satisfied with the pedal feel of this car. It always felt like the brakes worked fine. With the engine off, they felt normal. With the engine on, they went too close to the floor. They were too little resistance, I thought. And of course, you say, well, you didn't have them bled. It's like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but I bled them like 14 times, and it was like the clearest fluid. I mean, clearly it'd been coming from that master cylinder for long. Anyways, so maybe it was either the master or the brake booster. I would hate to bolt all of this up together and find that I wasted like a day plus worth of my time, but I wouldn't be shocked. In fact, typically that's how this kind of stuff goes. So, how's the Saturn doing? It's fine. It's up for sale. A series of blunders has led me to be more invested in that car money-wise than I intended. And I don't think I'm going to make a dime on it. I could even lose a couple $100. But that's fine. I mean, that's like I always say, they're like poker hands. Oh, there is the Saturn. See, there it is. There it is. So this is it. It is for sale. And this is the Craigslist ad for it. You can I guess find it on your own time. But yeah, I've had some bites. You know how it is. I mean, I don't know how many cars you've sold, but like, you know how it is when you go to put up a car. I put it on Craigslist, I put it on Facebook, and you get all these like little bites here and there, and it's usually not very serious interest. But yeah, so it's for sale. We'll see what it does. Yeah, you thought so? I think it's a decent little car.
It is. It's a great car.
Yeah.
What form of payments do you take?
I don't know. Like, I guess I would take a check. I mean,
Zelle?
Yeah, I could take Zelle, yeah.
We could do Zelle.
Okay. So here's what we spent on it. I spent $1,200 to buy it. I had to spend $108 on a caliper and pads just to get it home because the brakes were so blown when I bought it that I had to at least do that. I spent another $150 to junkyard getting bearing hub, rotor, and also a fender. I had to pay tax on the car. That was $138. I spent $50 on an eBay hubcap for that thing because I wanted all the hubcaps to match and be original. Shop supplies, $56. I'm just throwing that in there to even out the number. And then I spent $100 on used tires. And so this last $200 all happened within the span of the last week. I had those guys drive it last weekend, and they were kind of tire kickers, and they were dicks. The old guy was a dick. It was an old guy and his son, and the old guy was a dick to me. And that's not anything against him. It's not an indictment of him personally. The 15-minute touch point that I had with him as part of a used car sale, though, he was not real pleasant, and he kind of killed my confidence. And so I went to the junkyard, wasted $200 more fixing stuff that wasn't broken, and I drove myself crazy because this guy was kind of, I would say, a little bit overly harsh on my Saturn. And anyways, so that put us at 19, and then we spent 50 on the brake booster line, and so then we were at $2,000, okay? That's our number. Well, let's be realistic, because let's say you were trying to do this as a side hustle, and let's say you really needed the extra money. I don't. You can tell by the fact that I have a Model F keyboard. But let's say you were trying to do this legitimately. I spent at least, well, maybe not at least, but let's round it off with an extra $100, right? Because say, of all the gas that I spent driving to and from the junkyard and the parts store and all around town to pick this thing up and bring it home, and all the shop supplies and everything, my soap, let's throw an extra $100 on the top. So we're at $2,100. Now, again, I said I got full asking for this car. I did get full asking for this car, and I sold it. I put this car on the internet less than 24 hours ago. I got my asking price. Within 24 hours of selling the car. And how did that happen? I mean, number one, I didn't ask an outrageously high price. I didn't ask $3,500 and expect for people to drag me down. I just put out a price that was attractive, meaning to some degree it was low. I put out a price that was attractive, and I got enough people biting on me, and I got one person who actually recognized the value in this thing that I didn't even have to she didn't even ask me to negotiate, right? She just said, what do you want? What's the asking price? I'm good. She loved the car. After that guy drove it last weekend and gave me a real hard time about what a piece of crap it was, this nice lady comes along and she gets out of the car. She's like, I loved it. It drove so great. I'm like, yes, somebody gets it, like somebody gets that this is an actual a value for a $2,500 car. So what I say? I said I spent $2,100 on it. So I didn't lose money. I made $400 on it, right? Now, in the great scheme of things, and that's even if you round off an extra $100 just to kind of be safe. Now, in the grand scheme of things, considering the amount of time spent, is $400 worth it? No. I don't even know what that hourly rate would come out to. But I mean, I may have spent almost a full 40-hour work week on all the agonizing over that car. If you were to count all of the driving around and stuff that happened, if you were to count every second that I spent in some way dealing with that car, it may have been a 40-hour work week. So, yeah, 40 hours into 400. Now that 400 is after tax. So that's great. So that's what, $10 an hour? But that's $10 an hour after tax. So, which is greater than minimum wage. And also $10 an hour after tax is like what, 15 an hour before tax. So hey, things could have been worse. Things could have been way worse. We flipped one. We did not actually come out behind. I was scared I might come out behind. I came out ahead. I didn't come out ahead enough to make it worth my time in air quotes, but I had some fun moments. I had some shitty moments, but the shitty moments are called learning, and pain is weakness leaving the body. I had some good moments. I had some bad moments. Long story short, I had some moments, and it's like, what else would I have done? Sit inside on the computer all day? It got me out of the house. And sometimes you win big on these. That truck was a big win. That truck was, now it wasn't a flip in the sense that I haven't sold it yet, but I'm in that truck for way less than it's worth. I know for a fact that if I were to sell that truck, I'd probably be up $2,000 for not much effort that I've put into it. And then I had a really good run with an S10 a couple years ago, and then again I lost I think $1,000 on a Ford Ranger not too long ago. So my last 4 or so cheap experimental poker hand cars that I've had some ups, I've had some downs, I've had some break evens. All things considered, for this one, I would have to call that a break even. I can't call $400 a huge win for quite frankly the amount of time that I put into that one, because I did put a non-insignificant amount of time into that thing. But yeah, for a minute there, I was afraid we were going to break even. We did better than break or even lose money. We did not break even. We did not lose money. We made money, and that's all the news that's fit to print.